Welcome to this week's episode of the Author Collaborative. This week I am going to be talking to Ajola Ganesan, and the book in focus that I have read of hers is A Valentine's Love Sonata. I'm really excited to talk to her because she, like me, is also a poet, and I really enjoyed really enjoyed reading her book. And it's not just this book that she has authored, she has written several books, and we are going to talk about all of them and try and understand her writing process. Do stay connected, it's going to be a really exciting conversation. Let's wait for a few more people to join us before we invite today's guest. Stay connected, it's going to be a really exciting episode. Okay, we have her here in the viewers. I'm going to invite her now. I have invited her. Let's wait for her to join and we can start today's episode and the conversation with today's guest. Like me, she is also a poet and an author, and her poetry is something I have followed on social media for a while, and I've read her poetry book, A Valentine's Love Sonata, and it was a really good experience. We are going to talk about that book and many other books which she has authored. Ajola, I have sent you the invitation if you can accept it. If you have received the invitation, please accept. There's some technical issue from her side, I think. Please stay connected. Thank you for your patience and sorry for the delay. We had some technical issues with Instagram as always. There was a glitch and we were unable to start on the scheduled time, which has caused a slight delay. We should be able to start today's episode in a while. Ajola is already here and I have invited her. She should be able to go live with me in a few seconds. Hi, Ajola, I have sent you a fresh invitation. See if you can accept that and join. Hi. Okay, I'm still not able to see you.
Oh my God. Oh my
We are,
God.
we are going to have to do this live like this only.
Oh my God. That's really. We
Yeah,
are going
this
to
this
have a different experience this time, I guess.
yeah, this has happened a couple of times before where I could only see my face and
Okay.
I could only hear the guest speaking to me, but they were not visible with me on the screen. But
Oh
that's
my
all right.
God.
As long as you are visible to the other viewers.
Yeah. I checked with my friend as well whether it was my phone's problem or not. And it worked well there. So I think there'll be some network issue or something like that.
Yeah, this always happens with Instagram. There's some glitch or the other. Either it
Okay.
doesn't allow you to start on time or something like this happens. Never
Oh,
mind. I can at least hear you, so we can start the episode. We are already late by
okay.
a few minutes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Hi, Aurora. We also have Aurora here,
Hi,
and
Aurora.
glad to have you. Okay, so before we start the episode, Ajola, I want you to introduce yourself to the audience. Who are you and what do you do?
Yeah. I am Ajola Ganesan, and my real name is Meenu Ajola, and my father's name is Ganesan. So I chose Ajola as my pen name, and I added my father's name behind. And I have completed my MSc in physics and B.Ed. I have completed my B.Ed, and I worked as a teacher, and now I'm at home writing and following my passion.
Okay.
And that's all. Yeah, I have written so many books, and about my theme is always about romance, and that's it. That's it.
Okay, that brings me to the book in focus, which is A Valentine's Love Sonata, and very much about romance and love. Lots of romantic vibes in the poem,
Yeah.
in
Mm.
the book.
Thank
Before
you.
I ask you my questions, I'm going to show the book cover to the people, and
Mm.
then I'm going to bombard you with the questions that I had in mind. Okay, so this is the cover of the book, and
Mm.
there's a lot of roses and hearts, and we can feel the love in the cover itself.
Thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you. All the credit goes to
And
the book cover designer. All the credits go to designer.
okay, so now before I ask you the questions, now I'm also going to read out one poem from the book, which is one of my favorites from the entire collection. It is titled A Poet's Romance. It goes, ever touched the skin of poetry? She asks me, wrapping herself around my arms. Ah, I leave unanswered. Mesmerized by the beauty of the moon, her eyes over mine and my eyes over the moon. Minutes passed by. Ever touched the skin of poetry? She asked the question again, with an impression of stubbornness. Yeah, the eye contact, I answer, sending a flying kiss to the moon. She hits her head with her hand and leaves the balcony, murmuring, the poet and his romantic wife, the moon. So a lot of the poems from this collection are about I don't know the English exact phrase for it, but in Hindi we call it nok joke. Yes, so a lot of these poems are about the everyday conflicts, little conflicts between the couples, and they're really cute. And that's one of the reasons I like this particular poem because I'm also a fan of the moon. And you were written very cutely about how one of them is a moon lover and the other one is asking, uh, "Have you ever fallen in love?" And he's ignoring her.
Yes. Thank you so much. I'm really happy that you loved that poem.
I did. And that brings me to my first question for you because
Okay.
I I also particularly write poetry books which are theme based. So I wanted to understand from you
Okay.
what made you pick this theme and how and why did you decide on this combination, which is every poem is followed by a little graphic. There's a graphic with each poem. So
Yeah.
why did you decide to do that? And do you think that this combination of putting a poem with a graphic has it worked for you?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. When I published my very first book, 200 Shots of Couple Goals, it had 200 micro tales in it. And when I read that book, I felt that something was missing. And I thought adding pictures to it would make it more beautiful. And then I started using pictures in all of my other books. Like, when the reader opens the book, he first looks at the picture and then he goes for the words. And after reading it, again he'll look into the picture, and that will bring a deeper connection between the reader and the words. So I feel that pictures along with words will be more beautiful, and the poems will also taste much more tastier than ever.
Mhm. True,
Yeah.
true. And that is something I also agree with. Having graphics in the text along with your poetry or even your short stories and your fiction, it just enhances the reading experience,
Yeah.
feel.
Yeah. Yeah.
And also tell us about how did you decide upon this theme?
Um, I entered Instagram in 2017 November, in the month of November, and at first I used to write about conservation of nature, and we have to protect trees and everything. So what happened? One of the readers or writers, I don't know who they are, uh, they texted me, like she texted me and she told me that your words are really nice, but you have to write according to the needs of the readers so that you will grab more people. And then I started to write on various themes, and I found that people are more attracted towards love, romance, and heartbreak quotes. And then I started taking that and practicing on it, and now I have become a romantic writer. Now, whatever I take, it will lead to romance only. So I don't know. They shape my destiny. Yeah.
That's really interesting to know. And yeah, whoever is listening and is trying to find out and understand the reader experience or how the readers behave, this is a very good insight and on that you should focus on something that the people want, and then make it your niche. Start
Yeah.
writing it for that particular genre or that particular theme. So
Yes.
that's that's really important in order to reach an audience who would relate to your content.
Yeah. Yes.
Okay,
And
so that brings me to my next question, and which is that is there a particular routine or something like a writing method or technique that you follow for your writing? If yes,
yeah.
yes, please share those two, because I'm sure me and the others who are listening would love to know how you go about writing in your routine life.
um, I usually write in your quote app, ma'am. I write all my micro tales there, and because they used to add a picture every day, and they used to give a blank picture, and they used to ask us to write there. So I used to write all my micro tales there, and when I feel that I need to write a poem and all, I just log into Pinterest and search for paintings, vintage couple paintings, so that I feel that am more connected to paintings. And when I look into paintings, I like that kindles the emotions in me, and that's where I find the poet in me. So whenever I need to write a romantic poem or something, I go there, I search for vintage couple paintings, and I look into them and I write the poem.
Okay, that's interesting. So you are a part of writing communities, and you use image prompts for your poetry
Yeah,
to
yes,
maintain a routine.
yes, yes.
Okay, and how often do you do this? Is this an everyday routine?
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Everyday routine.
Okay,
I
so
like when I'm free, I used to go there and used to screenshot everything. And whenever I get free time, I used to sit and write.
that's really nice, and I'm sure it has helped you develop a writing practice.
Yeah,
Like making writing a part of your everyday life. Has that helped?
yeah, yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. It
Okay,
has shaped me. Yes.
okay. That's right.
Um,
That's
but
wonderful.
most
So
of the
thank you
part
very
goes
much.
to your coat app. Your coat app takes the whole lead. Because of them, I was able to write micro tales and everything.
So this is a platform where it's a writing community.
Yeah, yes, ma'am. Writing platform. Yeah,
Okay. Your top mate.
yeah. Your coat app.
Your code. Okay.
Yes,
Okay. Yeah.
yes,
Got it.
ma'am.
Okay.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. And is there any writing community on social media that you particularly follow or would recommend for a writing routine?
Um, recently, I joined Creation Springs writing community WhatsApp group, and I used to participate in poetry support group.
Okay.
Poetry support on Instagram. Yeah.
Poetry support group on
Yes.
Instagram.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you for sharing that. I'm sure it will be useful to me and many others who are trying to build a writing routine.
Yes. And
Before
Momo Clan
I
will also go. Momo Clan and Magazine Unicorn will also come under that.
oh, okay,
Yes.
yes, Unicorn Magazine is a page I also follow, and yes, their weekly prompts have been useful for
Yes.
getting into a writing discipline, writing
Yes.
poetry specifically.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, so
And
before I leave the floor to you, I'm going to read out one more poem which I enjoyed, which is Winter Romance. And then it's all to you. Okay, so this one is titled Winter Romance. Winter Romance, with warm hugs and soft touches. The stars from the sky glow brighter with the dark night. Heart dances with the blow of the wind. As the love falls down, as the rain of snow, smiles and hugs and the silence of the night, the moon watches the couple and gets dwelled in the thoughts of her love, the sun. The month of Christmas, the month of winter, filled with love and joy, promising love forever and ever.
and I
This
love
was
the moon
another
a
poem
lot.
that I really liked.
Yeah, I love the moon, and most of my poems have moon's presence there. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that's what resonated me with me as a reader also, because I am also a selenophile, and I write poetry related to moon and stars, and this one particularly, that's one particular element from your poetry that touched me also.
Thank you so much, ma'am. And talking about your book is actually a feast for teenage and young lovers, and you actually brought the emotions so well that I was really jealous of Gayatri, and I was wondering, oh my God, where is my Varun? And you really made me feel that. And your book is actually wonderful. And now I am going to read up my favorite part from that.
Okay.
Planting a kiss on her shoulder, he whispered, I love you too, Kulu. She murmured something which seemed very much like, get off me. He rolled over to the other side with a smile. She reached out and grabbed his palm, placing it on her chest. The feel of her even breaths against his hand soothed him, and a sense of peace pervaded his being. He was soon enveloped by a tranquil sleep himself. His last lucid thought was, if this is what the first day of being locked down with her was like, I wonder what the remaining 20 days will bring. So, this part and this last line that I read, if this is what the first day of being locked down with her was like, I wonder what the remaining 20 days will bring. My favorite part. And I really think that how did you frame this scene and these lines, and this is my favorite part, and I wondered, wow, um, I was really feeling jealous of Gayatri, and I wondered where my Varun is. It would be really nice if I meet my Varun. And now I have a question for you. How did you
Before we
come
do
up with
that,
this?
let's just show the
Okay.
cover to the
Yeah, yeah,
viewers.
yeah,
This is the book that Ajola read out from. It's Love and Melodrama. It's a romantic comedy written by me. Yes, go on.
yeah. Yeah. So, how did you come up with this beautiful story, and especially Gayatri's character? Was she a real woman, or and the whole story, was it really a real life story, or you have framed it from your imagination?
So the starting point of Gayatri and Varun's story was actually in the first book of the series. This book is the second book in the series, Love Trials,
Oh,
and the first book was Love Triangle, and this is Love and Melodrama, which is the second book in the series. And
oh,
Gayatri and Varun's characters were already introduced to the readers in the first book, and that's where their story actually began.
oh,
In my head also, and in the series also, the story started forming in the first book itself. Though when I wrote the first book, I didn't have the thought in my mind that I will be putting out a second book with Gayatri and Varun's story also. It was actually when Love Triangle did really well and received a lot of positive response, and Gayatri's character in particular in that book, it was
oh,
loved so much, and a lot of readers also asked me to, they wanted to know about Gayatri and Varun and what happens with them, because I already introduced their romance in the first book also.
oh.
So
Huh.
yeah. So they wanted to know how their romance blossomed, how they met and fell in love with each other. So
Mm.
that's how Love and Melodrama began from the first book in the series. And from that point, I just gave more color, added more personality traits,
Oh,
added more life to the characters of Gayatri and Varun beyond the first book. And
oh,
it's all none of the characters are based on real life. At least not people that I know. I'm sure there are people like that existing in the world, but
oh,
they are not the people that I know. Having said that, I do want to tell you that the women, all the three women in the series, the leading women, which
yeah,
is Ayesha Banerjee, Gayatri Kulkarni, and
yeah,
Nalini Joshi. These are the three women who make up the stories the most.
yeah,
And
yeah,
more than anything else, the series is about their sisterhood and how their friendship and their passion for creativity
yeah,
brings them
yeah, yeah.
together.
Yeah,
So
that was really nice, following the passion, and that was really nice.
So
I
happy to
love
hear that. Yeah, so these three women who are the central characters of the entire series, they are an amalgamation of all the women that I know and have met in my lifetime.
it.
So it's like an ode to all the women that I have known in my lifetime.
Yes, 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 ma'am. Correct. And now I have another question for you. How do you write every day? How did you write this novel? Give us some tips to write a novel, especially for me.
Okay, so uh, yeah, so if you are talking about this book in particular, I had a schedule in mind as to when I want to complete the first draft and when I want to put the book out. So I had a 2 month gap between finishing the first draft and releasing the book. I gave myself those 2 months for the editing and better reading,
Mm.
and I wanted to get the feedback of beta readers before put the book out. And if there were any changes, I wanted to incorporate those changes during those 2 months. So, uh, with that in mind, I began writing and I stuck to that schedule, keeping in mind that I have to finish by this time. And if I don't write this much every week or every month, I will not be able to finish by the time I want to publish the book. So having that particular kind of date in mind or a timeline in mind by when you want to complete the book, that really helped. It helped me,
Mm.
so it is possible that it will help you also if you are planning to write a book or put it out uh, anytime in the future. So
Mm.
have a rough deadline in your head as to when you want to finish the first draft, and that will help you stick to a schedule and maintain a discipline as to this is how much you can write in this week or in this month. So
Oh,
that helped me. And as to tips writing a novel, I would say that first decide on what genre you want to write. If you have that genre in mind, my first and simplest advice to you would be that read as many books as possible in that genre first
oh,
before in case you don't yet have an idea, if you have only decided the genre and you don't know what your story is going to be like, start reading in that genre as much as you can, and that will give you an inspiration as to what your story can be, or you might get a story idea from that reading.
oh,
And once you have that story idea, start reading deeply. Start reading as a writer, not as a reader.
oh,
Understand what the authors have done, how they went about introducing the settings, introducing the characters, planning the twists and turns, and what kind of setting they have put, and the character arcs and character growths. Try to understand that while you are reading. Don't just read as a reader, read as an author. Once you have decided on the genre and your story, start reading as an author and
oh,
understand what kind of incorporations the authors have done in their books, and try to inculcate those in your writing. Once
oh,
you are done with that, I believe once you have decided on the genre and once you know what your story is going to be like, and after that, it's just something related to routine and discipline, and that's what you have to follow.
oh. Yes. Thank you. And
Yes, with that, we come to the end of the long form questions, and we start with my favorite part of the episode, which is the rapid fire round. Are you ready? So, Ajula, with this, what we are going to do is we'll go turn by turn. I will start. I will
okay,
ask you one question, and then you ask. Okay?
okay, yes,
Okay. So, as far as my research goes, I think you have written 9 books, if I'm not wrong.
yes, seven, seven,
7. Okay, seven
seven,
books.
yes,
So,
seven.
out of these 7 books, which one was the hardest to write and why?
Um, Actually, I didn't feel these books as hard. What I felt was writing a novel. I felt really very difficult, and I haven't completed it yet. It is in draft mode for a very very long time. And whenever I try to sit and complete it, there is a battle between my mind and my brain. Like you no, I don't think, like, self doubt. I don't think your story will be that well enough, and people. will like or not. So I have that battle in my mind. So I'm not able to complete that novel, and still in draft mode. Yeah.
Your toughest book is actually not out yet.
Yeah, yes, very. Like, every year I used to promise them, okay, I will become a novelist this year, and actually 2 years have passed by, and it's still in that mood.
You will
Yeah,
get there. You just need to find the correct inspiration and the motivation to go on. You will get there. Don't worry.
yeah. Thank you, thank you. Okay, and I have a question for you. The book that you enjoyed and wrote.
The book that I enjoyed and wrote,
Mm.
I think the latest one that I've written, Knight in Shining Armor, that was the one that I enjoyed the most writing about because uh, night is my favorite time to do anything. So
Oh,
while writing the poems, also I was thinking about those times, and it was a fun experience. Also, I
oh,
have explored various forms of poetry in that book, and so that's really special, and that's something I've done for the first time.
wow. Then I'll definitely read it. Yeah.
You,
Okay.
being a poet, I'm sure you will enjoy it because it's because you know when the author is saying they have enjoyed writing the book, you know that it's a good product.
Yeah.
That's
Yes.
one time that you can be sure that it's going to be a good reading experience.
Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am.
Okay. My next question to you is: if you could change one thing about one of your books, what would be it and why?
Yeah, my very first book, 200 Shots of Couple Goals. It has only micro tales and it doesn't have any images. So I feel that if I get a chance, I will re-edit it and I will insert images in that. That
Okay,
seems, yeah, that's what.
interesting.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, your turn.
And which scene did you feel difficult to write in your love melodrama novel?
Okay, I am not going to give out spoilers, but the first is the climax scene, and I would have to describe it in detail. So I'm going to give you another option here, which is the first time that uh, Varun and Gayatri are alone together during the lockdown and the events that follow.
Oh,
Because it was the first time that I was doing an intimacy scene between two characters and to a level that I had never done before.
oh,
That was the most challenging for me because as an author I had to myself come out of that restrictions in my mind that uh, I have to stop thinking about what people are going to think about me when they read
yeah.
these parts.
Um,
that's
yeah, I feel
that's a
that.
major that's a major battle for a romance author,
Uh,
and because you are constantly thinking about लोग क्या सोचेंगे मेरे बारे में अगर मैं ऐसा लिखूंगी तो so that's
uh,
another hurdle that you have to cross mentally.
yeah, yes, ma'am. Even now, I'm facing the same thing. So people who ever come, they you are a romantic writer. You must be in a relationship. You should have been in a relationship, or else you cannot write such things. So that is making me go little like I feel I have that fear of writing now because I have never been in love and I have never experienced that. So when people say this, I have a fear in myself. Like even though if I say I had never been in love, people will never believe me.
Hello.
Hello, yes, ma'am. Can you hear me?
Yes, continue,
Yeah.
yes.
Yes, ma'am. And only my classmates, they know that they only believe that, yeah, you were single the whole time. And even they too tell me sometimes, like, if I weren't your classmate, even I would have believed that you were in love because you write romantic stories, romantic poems very well. So that is the toughest part for a romantic writer. Yes, I agree with
Yeah.
you.
Okay.
Um,
So that brings me to my next question, which is a superpower you wish you had and why.
Superpower. I wish I with this girl and run into a book. a fairy tale book and live that peacefully. I don't want to live in this realistic world. It's so, you know, it's very tough to live in this world. I feel that I want to run away. I want to have mental peace. I want to live away and follow my passion without any doubt. Because the haunts of the people telling me that, do you really think that art is going to feed you? Like, how are you going to be financially stable by following your passion? And that really haunts me. So I feel that I want to run into a world where only art prevails.
Yeah, I also wish I had that superpower. But adding as an add-on to that superpower, I would like to say that uh, I wish I had the superpower to transport myself into whatever book I am reading, into the
Uh,
world of those characters.
yeah, that's amazing. Yeah.
Okay,
Okay,
so you're done.
yeah. An author or book that you love the most and would suggest people to read.
This is a very, very difficult question. So I'm going to narrow down my own choices here
Okay.
because I've read a lot of books over the years, and
Hmm.
to answer which is my favorite or who do I follow is difficult for me uh, because there are so many of them. So I'm going to narrow down my choices to the books of this year, 2023.
Okay.
And the books that I have really enjoyed this year are uh, A Good Girl's Guide to Murder. That's one I have enjoyed. And then there's Rock, Paper, Scissors that I have enjoyed. And in romance, I have enjoyed Dating Dr. Dil. And yeah, that's about it, I think. And another one by Apeksha Rao, and that's also a romance, and it's the first book in the Bad Girl series.
Oh,
So these are the 4 or 5 books that I have really enjoyed in this particular year. If you want to have more recommendations, please you can, I will send you the link, or you can follow my Goodreads review where I have reviewed. Or from the books that I have reviewed this year, you can find out the ones that I have rated the highest, and all those books that I have rated above 4.5, they are a must read.
yeah. Yeah, I follow you on the break.
Okay, so my next question to you is an author or a book that didn't stand up to your expectations.
Um, Actually, I read self-help books more because I'm feeding my mental health. I'm taking care of my mental health now.
Hmm.
So, and I don't find much time to read books. So I read books that are lesser than 70, like, 60, 50 to 60 pages. I used to read that kind of books. That too only self-help books.
Hmm.
So I didn't find any book like, as a I didn't find any book as not satisfying and all. I found it like I find at least two or three things that will nurture my soul, my mental health. So I feel that all the books were perfect.
Wow, you are too sweet.
I don't want to hurt the author's heart, so let that be. Yeah,
Okay, okay. So I think it's time for your question.
yeah, yeah, yeah. A superpower that you wish to have and why?
The ability to go on without sleeping. I anyway am not much of a lover of sleep, and
Oh,
I can power through with 4 or 5 hours of sleep also. So if I could cut even that out, I think my productivity would be better, and I would be like, wow, I saved so many hours, and I can write more, read more, travel more.
yeah, yeah. I don't know why all authors are telling the same sentence. Most of the friends are the same, tell the same. Like, if we had, they used to write at night time, and they used to say that even if we quit sleeping, we will have much more time to edit and
Yeah.
write our books. Yeah,
I think most writers are night owls, and they love writing during the night hours, during the dark. So
yeah.
it's no surprise that most authors would say this.
Yes, ma'am, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
My last question to you is that a promotion strategy which you have used and you swear by, and another promotion strategy which you swear you will never use again.
Actually, I took an oath that I will not do reels. I'll not do reels using my face and all. And when I approached people for marketing my book, they were like asking huge amounts to just advertise my books. And then I thought of thinking why to spend so much money and let us even start doing reels. And that's where I broke my law and now I am doing reels. I will sell my product. I will become the model for my products. I'm doing
Wonderful.
that nowadays. Yeah.
Okay. And any other strategy that has and has this worked for you? That's another question.
No, no, I'm following this at present. Yeah.
Okay. Okay.
Yes.
And
I
anything
have
that
one
has not worked
question
for
for
you?
you. I have one question for you.
Yes. Okay.
Your promotional strategy, you would try to promote your book.
A promotion strategy I would try for mine. So, my only thing that is not working in my favor currently is that I am not living in India, so I am not able to do much of offline promotions. And that is
Okay.
something that I would like to invest more time and energy into
Hmm.
offline promotion.
Hmm.
So
Okay.
that's one
Okay.
strategy I want to try. But since
Ah.
I am, restricted because of my geographical location currently, that's something that's not happening for me.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, but hope you will do it.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
So whenever I am in the country, whenever I am visiting India, I make sure that I do a lot of offline promotions as much as possible. Try and meet readers and try
Hmm.
and meet
Ah.
potential people who would help me increase the reach of my books. So that's
Hmm.
something that I always do. If I was in India, I would have been doing it regularly. But since now I only have limited days, I make sure that I make the most of those.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Yeah.
Okay, so I think that's about it. We have come to the end of today's discussion. Hi, Kaveri. Kaveri has joined us. Thank you, Kaveri, for
Hi,
joining. We
Kaveri
are
ma'am.
a little late. We are just ending up. We are wrapping up today's episode.
Thank you, ma'am, for being here, Kaveri ma'am.
uh, Shilpa here is saying too generous with the comments. Yes, I think she's saying that about you because you were very diplomatic when I asked you about a book that you didn't enjoy. Uh, is there any other comment that we have missed here? I'm just scrolling up. In the meanwhile, if those people who are with us and would like to ask us any questions or drop in any comments, we are still here. Uh, I don't think there's any questions from the audience that we have missed. Something mesmerizing. Thank you so much. I think Shilpa was referring to the excerpt that you read out from my book. I'm glad you
Thank
like that,
you.
Shilpa. I actually that was the scene that I was talking about because
Yeah, yes, ma'am.
right before that was the scene related to the uh,
Yeah,
intimacy that I was talking about,
yes.
and it took me a lot of self talk and building up the courage. अभी ये तो लिखना ही पड़ेगा. How will
Mm.
you put a romance into the story without having a love scene? So
Yeah, yes, yes. I understand, ma'am.
Shilpa is saying hi to you, Kaveri.
Hi, hi.
No, no, the audience is saying hi to each other, not
Oh,
to us.
okay, yeah. Okay. Hi, Nitisha, my friend. Thoughts to cherish.
Yeah. Hi, Nitisha. Thank you for joining. How do you promote your book in a new country? I am in Netherlands. You are in Netherlands, or I am? Is she asking me? Okay. Anyway, I promote my book in a new country by reaching out to authors, to readers and bookstores here who would like to help me promote the books and help would agree to keep my books in their stores. And then I also have sometimes I have reading sessions with readers, and I'm a part of reading communities that also helps me promote my books. Shilpa is saying, I also mentioned that you both have the moon in common. Yes, we do have. We are both Selenophiles.
Yeah.
Okay, she has relocated to the Netherlands a month back. So try reaching out to readers in your area. Uh, a hurdle that you might face here is related to the language. Not many people here would be reading in English language. They would prefer to have it in Dutch. So maybe if you have the resources, you can get your books translated. That would help you. Okay, I think that's about it. We have come to the end of the questions also that we had. Is there anything that you would like to say, Ajola, before we wrap up today's episode?
No, I thank everyone for joining my life, and thank you so much, ma'am, for choosing me for this interview. I was very nervous, earlier before the session. I was really nervous, and I was like, I don't know how I'm going to perform, and all. Thank you so much.
My pleasure. And it's always, I enjoy having these conversations every week with authors, and it's always a learning experience.
Yes,
So thank you for agreeing to join. And despite your, inhibitions about having this conversation on an Instagram live, I'm glad you agreed and you
yeah,
fought over your
ma'am.
nervousness.
Actually, yes, when you asked me, I was very, very scared. And then when you asked me again, then I was like, okay, well, how many days are we going to be afraid and afraid of not, coming to live when meeting people? And then I was like, okay, fine, I'll break the law, and I came. Thank you so
I'm
much.
so happy. I'm so happy that you did it despite being so nervous, and I'm glad that I was the one that pushed you to come out of your comfort zone.
Yeah, yes, yeah. You played a very big role today.
I'm glad.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
I'm looking forward to doing this with you again. So keep writing more books, and we'll do this again for sure.
yeah,
Okay?
yes. Thank you so much. Thank you so much, ma'am.
And thank you for joining me today. This was a great episode, and I had fun talking with you about your books and your writing, and it was an insightful episode. Thank you once again. And to the viewers who are still with us, thank you for being a part of the live. You can always, if you have missed the episode, you can always go back and have a look. The episode will be available on my Instagram feed, and I will also be uploading it on my YouTube channel where you can go and have a look at the conversation.
Yes,
Bye. Thank
thank you.
you. Bye, Ajula.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank
Bye,
you.
everyone.
Thank
Have a
you.
great
Thank you.
weekend.
Yeah,
Bye.
thank you. Bye. Bye. Thank you.